Now that we have explored the different parameters, let's continue with our strategy, and we want now to finish our strategy. I want to keep this as simple as possible, so I'm going to select the SRE algorithm, and my reasoning here is I want to pick the 4 highest performing DAO tickers, but then in the allocation I don't really care how much or how good each of these 4 is performing, so I just want to allocate 25% to each of them. I stick with the top 4. I leave the allocation minimum and maximum like it is, and the volatility attenuator currently at 1%, and also our look back. Now, the next question obviously is, hey, is this the best combination of look back and volatility attenuator? And for that, we're going to have a look at our optimize window. The optimizer allows you basically to run a brute force optimization for all possible look back periods and also for the volatility attenuators. So we're going to test thousands of combinations, and this is why it's important that you select carefully how big the range should be. I just leave it open now. So I'm going to test lookbacks from 6 days up to 200 days, or let's bring it up to 250 days. Step of 2, so I'm going to test 6, 8, 10, 12, 14. And so on. And the volatility attenuator, I'm going to check from 0, which means basically no volatility, to a very high level of 10. Once I've set up here these ranges, I just have to click run. And this is now going to take a while, so I'm going to be back once this has finished. So QuantTrader is about to finish, and once it has finished, it's going to present us this heat map here, or as we call it, our 50 shades of gray. And for reading this, on the horizontal scale here, you have the look back period from 6 days up to 250. And here on the vertical scale, you have the volatility attenuator from 0 up to 10. Now, how to read this? This is really a visual aid. The idea is that the whiter or the clearer the gray is, the higher the return is for that combination. So for example, the very light tones here give you the better performing combinations, and the very dark areas like here, these are the worst performing. And the idea now is to look for a broader range of parameters where you find a sweet spot, a bright range of parameters like this one here. There might be another one here, and there might be just another one over here. So we don't want to over optimize. We don't want to pick just one spot, which might be just a statistical effect, but we want to find a broad range where the strategy is overall relatively stable. QuantTrader here is proposing us the best combination and marks it with a red dot. If you look at the values behind that, you can see the overall Sharpe ratio, which is the modified Sharpe ratio for that combination of 118 days and volatility attenuator of 0 is 22. So this is what QuantTrader optimizes for. The overall total return in the 10 years period would be 456. And then breaking that down into annual Sharpe and annual return, you can see this is a 0.992 Sharpe and an 18.7% annual return. The volatility is about 20 days. Now, again, we have to question ourselves if this is just a statistical coincidence or if this is really a broader range where the strategy is stable for a broad range of variables. In this case, I think this looks quite stable. There are much better, broader ranges, but now for this example, I'm just going to pick one which is close there, which is 120 days, and a volatility attenuator of 0.5. Once I've picked that, I tell QuantTrader to apply that, and then I go back to our strategy, and I can see how the backtest would look with 122 days and 0.5% or 0.5 volatility attenuator. And this now brings us to a annual return of 17%, volatility of 19, and a drawdown of 35%. If you compare that to the Dow overall, you can see the annual return is roughly twice. The volatility is in the same range, and the drawdown only is slightly reduced from 48 to 35. So I'm still not very happy, but for the time being, I don't want to tune too much here. This is always the risk of overfitting, and at the end, we still have pending to come up with our hedge strategy, and then can see if the combination of the Dow and the hedge brings us to a more stable overall strategy.